My grandfather's friend was an IFS officer in the Indian Foreign Service, and he narrated an incident to me which was very interesting. He told me that once they were invited to a conference many years back, and all the delegates had to sit in an alphabetical order. And the most powerful delegate in that entire room was the US ambassador. And fortunately or unfortunately, had to sit next to the Ugandan ambassador, and he was very upset. No, I don't want to sit next to him. No, he doesn't know English, and he was very upset. But anyway, they said the protocol is the protocol, so you have to sit there. And he sat next to the Ugandan ambassador, the US ambassador in his big coat, and the Ugandan ambassador wearing one small, insignificant shirt. As the conference was going on, the US ambassador said, might be I should initiate some conversation with this Ugandan ambassador. So when the soup was being served, he looked at the Ugandan ambassador very condescendingly and he said, "Likey soupy?" The Ugandan ambassador looked at him, nodded his head very indiscreetly, and he continued drinking his soup. After this meal was over, they called the Ugandan ambassador on stage. And the Ugandan ambassador gave an amazing speech in Queen's English, and the entire audience applauded and gave him a standing ovation. As soon as the Ugandan ambassador came back to his seat, he looked at the US ambassador and said, "Likey speechy?" That Ugandan ambassador had a lot of self-worth. Today I'm going to talk to you about what this self-worth is all about. When you look at the definition of a self-worth, it says the value which you possess. We associate respect, love, and trust with other people. But when you have that same respect, love, and trust towards yourself, when you are comfortable with yourself, that is nothing but self-worth. You value yourself for what you are. And this value doesn't come from outside. I had this very, very strong experience because I was a president of a Toastmasters club here in Bangalore, and there used to be an introduction which was given to the president every week at the meeting as the president. And this person who used to introduce me had messed up my resume. I had given him a huge resume which said MCom, MBA, MPhil, National Award winner. And he used to forget my resume and he used to say, instead of MCom, BCom, instead of MBA, BA, sometimes instead of National Award, a local award. And I used to feel very, very upset. And one day, when he was introducing me, something struck me. What struck me was that, Rajdeep, you are expecting this person to give you a great introduction in 2 minutes, but you don't trust your own speaking abilities to introduce yourself to the audience in the 5 minutes when you're going to give your presidential address. And I think so self-worth is all about that. It never comes from outside. People who lack self-worth look for it outside. Oh, I am the director of a company, so I need respect. Oh, I am that singer who's going to get a lot of applause, so people should appreciate me. I wore good clothes, so people should say, oh, you're looking really good. But actually, that self-worth is that deep feeling within which makes you feel valued. And it is never an outside job. It's always an inside job. Because when you respect yourself, that's what makes all the difference. As Oscar Wilde so beautifully said, when you start loving yourself, it's the beginning of a lifelong romance. And I think so that lifelong romance can begin with some very, very easy techniques. So let me talk about some very, very easy techniques for you to boost your self-worth. The first technique which I want to talk about is, I won't tell you the technique straight away, let me give you a small story. A few years back, I was at a gym. I had started gymming, and there was a small gym near my house where around 5 to 10 people used to come every day, and I used to go there, I used to go in the evening and enjoy myself and come back. One day when I went, instead of 10 people, there were 25 people in that gym. My exercise, which used to take me nearly around 20-25 minutes, took me 1 hour that day. So I went to the owner of the gym and asked him, "Sir, how come you increased the attendance from 10 to 25? Did you distribute pamphlets in this area?" He said, "No, sir." "Oh," I said, "maybe you gave an advertisement to the paper." He said, "No, sir." I said, "Oh, then did you tie up with some company?" He said, "No, sir." I said, "Then how come you have 25 people?" He said, "Sir, look at the date, sir. I said, what's the date? Sir, January 2nd, sir. Everybody New Year resolution, sir. Don't worry, sir. By January 15th, everything will become normal, sir. I remember by January 15th, there were only 10 people in the gym. And I remember on February 2nd, I was the only person gymming over there. And I want to tell you, the first key to boost your self-worth is a golden word called commitment. I remember when I was in school, I had given my chemistry lab record late to my chemistry teacher. And I was a very good student. And my chemistry teacher had told me, you had told me that you're going to give it on Monday, but today's Thursday. I told, sorry, sir, please, sir. And I remember my chemistry teacher telling me something which stuck to my head till now. He said, Rajdeep, your word is your bond. When your word is no value, and if it's not good, eventually even you will become no good. And I want to tell you the same thing. If you want to boost your self-worth, can you commit and fulfill your commits on a daily basis? Remember when the alarm rings in the morning at 6:30? You set the alarm. What do? There's a beautiful function called snooze. You snooze it, sleep again, and especially you come here, you curse the college, your office, get up after 20-25 minutes and come over here. Remember when you have made a commitment to yourself that I'm not going to eat anything fried or anything sweet, and then today you have this sumptuous lunch being served here. You said, forget it, correct? Today I will eat, correct? Tomorrow onwards I will go on a diet, because it's generally said animals eat when they're hungry, but human beings eat when food is free. So you have to live up to that expectation. You make your own commitment. I will go and exercise every day in the morning, but it drizzles a little. Oh my God, if I go out, I'll dissolve in the rain. But just remember this fact that when you are going against your own commitment, you're not insulting anybody else, you're insulting yourself. When you put your alarm on snooze, you have not insulted anybody else, you have insulted yourself. When you say, I'm not going to eat sweets, and you put that sweet in your mouth, you have not insulted anybody else, you have insulted yourself. When you say, I'm going to exercise in the morning, and you don't go for that exercise, you have not insulted anybody else, you have insulted yourself. And every time you make a commitment and go back on a commitment, you have fallen in your own eyes. Your self-worth has come down just a little bit. And I'm telling you, the simplest way of building your self-worth is only this. If I make a commitment, if I say it, I will do it. If I say it, I will do it. If I make a commitment, I will fulfill it. If you tell you're going to meet your friend at 6 o'clock, don't go for your friend. Go for yourself. If you say to your family that I'm going to take you out for a movie on Sunday, don't go for your family, go for yourself. If you tell your teacher, I'm going to submit that particular assignment on that day, you don't do it for your teacher, you do it for yourself. Because every commitment you honor is like a small stroke in the painting of your self-worth. And every commitment you dishonor is like a scratch in the painting of your self-worth. Do you want your painting of self-worth filled with scratches or filled with strokes? You make that decision. So the first very important element of boosting your self-worth is commitment. Let's go to the second one. Let me ask you, why is the Taj Mahal so beautiful and so valued? Why is the Leaning Tower of Pisa such a beautiful wonder of the world? Why are the pyramids of Egypt considered such magnificent pieces of creation? Because they are unique. And the second important part to understand and boost your self-worth is to recognize that you too are unique. Do you know that there are 20,000 crore galaxies in the universe, and our galaxy Milky Way is absolutely unique? Among the 30,000 crore stars in our Milky Way, our sun and our solar system is completely unique. Among the millions and billions of asteroids, comets, and different astral planets which are there in the solar system, our planet Earth is completely unique. Among the thousands and crores of life forms like algae, fish, birds, our human form and our living species is completely unique. And among those 800 crore people living on this planet, you are completely unique. There is nobody like you. People say there are 6 people like you in the world. No, it's not proven scientifically. Even identical twins are not unique. So just like the Taj Mahal, you are unique. You have to respect your uniqueness. And the greatest enemy of uniqueness is when we start comparing. Oh my God, he's like that, I'm like this. I have 15,000 followers on Facebook, he has 25,000 followers. You degrade your self-worth. He is living his own life. You can't expect a duck to climb a tree and a monkey to swim. Does the monkey not have the same value as a duck just because it can't swim? Even you might be good in administration, somebody might be good at accounts, somebody might be good at singing. Everyone has their own unique talent and we discount that by comparing. I remember every time, parents generally compare and, there'll be some cousin brother or cousin sister or some friend whom you'll try and compare with. There was a father who was talking to his son and he say, "You idiot, you got only 95 in maths. Look at your neighbor Anita, she got 99. You got only 65 in English. Look at your neighbor Anita, she got 98. You got only 70 in other subjects and she got 99 in all her other subjects. Just keep looking at her and see how much she's getting." The boy looked at his father and said, "Looking at Anita only I got those marks and you want me to get even more?" So if you keep looking at others, you are in big trouble. So never compare. It's not going to serve you any purpose. You are living your own life. You have your own skills. And secondly, you don't respect your uniqueness by imitating. You're all that. When you imitate somebody, you're telling nature, "I'm not good enough." There is this great sickness of imitation. I want to be like this. I remember when I was in my 8th standard, before I lost my eyesight, I used to go to a cricket academy for coaching. And there was this boy with me who was extremely good in cricket. And we both admired Sunil Gavaskar. Sunil Gavaskar was the cricketing icon at that particular point of time. And he used to bat like Sunil Gavaskar, wear the floppy hat like Sunil Gavaskar, hold the bat like them. And the greatest moment came when Sunil Gavaskar came to our cricket academy to talk to all the youngsters who were learning cricket. And he saw this boy, my friend, and he saw him imitating him and the way he was batting and the way he was putting his floppy hat and everything. And then he came to the boy, patted him on the back and he said, "Young boy, I want to tell you something." The boy said, "Yes, sir, I'm your fan." He said, "Yes, you can become the best yourself, but only the second best Sunil Gavaskar. Stop being like me. Be yourself, young man." He patted him and he went away. And I think so that was the greatest lesson which I learned. You can be the best yourself, but only the second best somebody else. So when you imitate, when you see, you try to be a carbon power, you can be inspired. You can be inspired by somebody and play like Ronaldo, Messi, but you can't just imitate them. You can be inspired or emulate somebody. But the moment you start imitating, you're insulting your own uniqueness. What I'm trying to tell you is something very simple. Can you be yourself? And when you are yourself, you are the best version of yourself. And that will give you your self-worth. So remember, the second key to boost your self-worth is respect your uniqueness. Let's come to the third way in which we can boost our self-worth. I went to my friend's house the other day, and her son came up to her very excitedly, and she said, "Mummy, I got 96 in maths." And my friend looked at him very sternly and she said, "Oh, where did the other 4 marks go?" The next exam, he got only 4 marks. The reason I told you this was, many times we listen to others and we get deeply negatively motivated and lose our self-worth because somebody is commenting on us. So I want you to learn the third technique, which is to elevate yourself from all negative comments. Because when you are listening to somebody, you are listening to their opinion. They come from their background, they come from their initiatives, and you have nothing to do with them. What somebody talks about you is nothing to do with you. It is to do with what they are coming from what background they are coming from. If somebody calls you an idiot, are you going to turn behind and acknowledge that you're an idiot? If somebody is going to call you a fool, are you going to turn around and say, yes, I'm a fool, now what do I do? It's crazy. Everybody has their own opinion, and I've seen people ruin their self-worth because somebody has some opinion about them. The other day, my wife said, Rajdeep, you're a fool. I turned around and said, yeah, that's why I married you, right? After that, she has never told me anything again. But I just want to tell you one thing. The more and more you listen to other people's opinion and pull yourself down, it is entering a rat hole. I remember when I was in college, one of my teachers had always told me, Rajdeep, when people are kicking you at the behind, remember you're in front of them. And you will always be in front of those people who are criticizing you. Don't lose that self-worth because everyone has their own opinion. I had taken part in a dance competition in this very college, and everybody told me, Rajdeep, you can't dance, you can't see, how will you emulate the steps, etc. And I remember one of my aunts had told me, Rajdeep, repeat a mantra for yourself. I said, what's that mantra, auntie? And this mantra has stayed with me. It's called the authenticity mantra. It says, I will not shrink, I will not puff myself, I will stand my sacred ground. I will not shrink, I will not puff myself up, I will stand my sacred ground. And you have to stand your sacred ground because people will shrink you. I think every one of us has something in us to offer to the world. And each of us has something. So next time what do? When you go in front of the mirror, like when you go to the small kids and say, hold your own cheek and do, actually appreciate yourself. You've written a lot of love letters to your friends and other people. Now write a love letter to yourself. It's high time. So I think you have to appreciate yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't expect your neighbor's daughter or son to love you. Or in this case, whoever. Correct? But just remember that. Cannot put yourself down by other people. And that is very, very important. So remember these 3 important techniques to boost your self-worth. It's the Q to developing your self-worth. C for commitment, U for uniqueness, and E for elevating yourself out of that negativity. When you take that Q to your self-worth, remember the spark will always glow in your heart. And that is what defines you and not what other people say. Thank you so much.